What's good, everyone? It's Blackbeard What Ifs here with another video, and this video is what if Deku was sent to another world or reincarnated into another world. And before I get into the actual video, I want to say I don't say this a lot, but really thank you guys, because I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't expecting to get to as many subscribers that I have now, because I think I have 343 or 443, I can't remember. I'll go back and check, but either way, it's a lot for me, and I just want to say thank you, because I'm not gonna lie, when I made this video, or like when I made this channel, I was going through some stuff mentally, so I was just doing something to cope and just get rid of everything, just my own way of forgetting. And you guys really helped with that, because you all showed me that people actually do like to listen to my voice. So, I just want to say to you guys, thank you. Thank you guys a lot. I love you. I love everyone that watches my videos, and I love all of you. Well, I think that's about it for that. I don't want to get too much into it and forget about what I was doing. So, let's get into the video. So, before we get to the actual main world, the world that Deku's going to, we're actually going to be going into a little bit of his past. Now, Deku, when he was born, he was, of course, quirkless, so life already wasn't looking good for him. And for a good portion of his life, he was tormented. He was tormented by his whole school. Everyone, they all just hated him. And he could never understand why. He's like, why? What did I do? What did I do to cause you all to hate me so much? And Deku, he's just kind of, the best way I could put it is Deku is just going through serious depression. Like almost every day he wakes up with the clear thought of just ending himself. And I want to say this now, anyone that has those thoughts, do not do it. You have better things to live for. You may not think that now, but there are people that do care about you. They don't show it, but they do care about you. Just thought I'd get that out there. But Deku, he's going through serious depression, and he's thinking about ending it every single day of his life. And one day, specifically the last day of school, before going to UA, Deku would, how would I put it? He would just kind of be moping in class when the teacher would come in, and the teacher would be like, okay, class, settle down. Today we're going to be doing a little assessment to see which schools you all are going to. As the whole class, they just start groaning because they're like, oh, come on, teach, you already know. As the teacher would just throw his paper into the air, as he would say, but that's what I would say if I didn't know you all wanted to become heroes. As everyone just starts cheering and showing off their quirks and everything. And Deku's just sitting in the back of the class with his head down like, oh my god, you guys are so annoying. But no, he's not saying that out loud because he's not in the mood for a beating at all. So he's like, yeah, no. Let me keep what I said internally. As, Bakugo would just say, come on, teach, none of these kids can go to a hero school except me. I'm the only one with a good enough quirk. As as the teacher would just say to Bakugo, well, yes, that is true, but that doesn't mean you can go around being cocky, Bakugo. And, Bakugo just kind of looked at the teacher and he's like, huh? Who's gonna stop me then? All Might? Because he's the only one strong enough that could stop me. As what ends up happening is Deku, like, Deku kind of snickers to himself because he's like, yeah, sure, whatever. And Bakugo turned around. He's like, what was that, you damn nerd? You had something to say? As Deku, he would just look at Bakugo and he's like, no, no, I have nothing to say. I have nothing to say. And and Bakugo would just go. He would just turn around. He was like, yeah, that's what I thought, you stupid Deku. And Deku would just go back to putting his head down as the teacher would be like, oh, Midoriya, it seems you want to go to UA as well. As the whole class goes silent, and then they just burst out laughing. They're like, wait, this quirkless nobody is trying to get into UA? Oh my god, this is rich. Oh god. Like, they're all just laughing and everything. As Bakugo's like, I'm only gonna tell you this once, Deku. You better not go to UA or else I'll kill you. As Deku's like, you know what? I've kind of had it with you. You and your big mouth, you have been going around acting like you're just this big dude for so long. I think it's about time someone put you in your place. As Bakugo's like, what? You're gonna do it or something? You don't have a quirk. There's no way you could. And right as Bakugo says that, Deku would literally hit him over the head with his chair, causing Bakugo to fall unconscious, bleeding from the back of his head. As Deku he would drop the chair as he would just pick up his bag and he would just say, Teach, I'm leaving. As the teacher's like, okay, goodbye, Midoriya. I'll see you later. Sorry about saying that out loud. I just realized you probably didn't want them to hear that, huh? As Deku would just look towards teacher and he's like, nah, it's fine. You finally gave me a good reason to stand up to Bakugo and put him in his place. As Deku, he would just leave and everything. And for the most part, Deku's not even going home. He's just kind of wandering around and everything. Until, due to him just kind of walking around minding his own business, he would hear, it's been a few hours after school and everything, so Deku would hear this huge explosion. And he would run to the explosion and he would see Bakugo getting like basically suffocated by the sludge villain. So Deku, not really wanting to help Bakugo, but at the same time wanting to be a hero, he just leaps forward and starts running towards Bakugo. And, he starts trying to pull the stuff off of Bakugo. And Bakugo's like, get off me, you damn nerd. And Bakugo goes to throw an explosion at Deku, but Deku grabs his arm and points it back at him, causing him to knock himself out. As Deku's just like, shut up, I'm trying to save your life here. And I won't be able to save your life if you're too busy trying to end mine. So, Deku's actually managing to get the sludge villain off of Bakugo. And right as he pulls the sludge villain off, All Might would come in and not seeing, the Deku's there. He would just see the sludge villain because Deku's behind the sludge villain, like holding him. All Might would just come in. He would just say, Detroit, smash! And he would just throw this huge punch at. He would just throw this punch at the sludge villain, and just completely. He's just gone. Sludge villain is gone at that point, and so is Deku. Like he sent Deku flying, and everyone would just tell All Might. They're like, hey, there was a kid behind him. As All Might's like, wait, what? As they're like, yeah, some quirkless kid got behind the sludge villain and ended up saving that boy. As All Might's like, oh, well, never mind, it's just a quirkless kid, who cares? And All Might jumps off, leaving everyone they're just shocked, because they're like, wow, so this is our number one hero? Oh yeah, we're screwed. And, let's cut to Deku. And, meanwhile, Midoriya, he is in the air flying. Like, he's just going. And while he's flying and everything, the sludge villain still, like, with him because he's still kind of holding the sludge villain. So, once, they get to the ground, actually, they land with a hard thud that just shakes that whole area. They hit the ground hard, and both Deku and the sludge villain sadly pass. And while, everything was happening, or let me phrase that, while Deku was dying, along with the sludge villain, they both were just like kind of holding on to each other. Just kind of a, I don't know, sense of comfort. I don't know. I can't think of anything. But while they're holding on to each other, Deku's just like, it's hard to say. Sorry, someone just came into my room. But basically, they're clinging on to each other, and they're just like, I don't know, giving each other a sense of comfort. And as they both pass, the sludge villain and Deku, they both die, and their eyes are closed as they both open their eyes, and they're in a whole new world, or not in a new world. They're in this just void, in this dark abyss, as they're like, oh, don't tell us we're both dead. As they turn, they're like, yep, we're dead. Oh, god damn it. And they're just like sitting there thinking to themselves because they're like, oh my god, come on, not like this. As this lady, or these two ladies, would fall down, or like float down towards them. As Deku and the sludge villain, they would look at they would look at each other, and then they would look at the girls, and they're like, oh, and you can see that too, right? And sludge villain would also nod as Deku just looks at them because they're just beautiful. Because one has these bright white wings, almost like a bird, while the other girl has these bat-like wings and these horns, and they're just floating down. As eventually the girls would make it to Deku and the sludge villain, and they're like, "Okay, we're gonna need you all's real names, please." As Deku would go, "Okay, well, my name's Izuku Midoriya." And the sludge villain would just say, call me Isaac. There wasn't really a name I had, seeing how most of my life I was sludge. So yeah, parents didn't really name me, as they just kind of threw me out. But, I digress. As, as basically the two women are like, okay, Izuku Midoriya and Isaac, we have decided to send you all in another world. But seeing how we don't have many bodies for you all to get transported to, or any newborns to transport you all to, we are going to transport both of you to one body that's currently being resurrected. So before the resurrection is done, and before you all actually get out of the hole, we're going to put you in that body. With Midoriya being the main, being the one that does everything, and Isaac is just going to be the one that watches over Deku. And if anything happens, basically Isaac is going to be a power generator for Deku. He's going to be absorbing the power, and Deku's going to be using the power. As they look at each other and they're like, alright, that's cool. And Deku would just kind of be sitting there twiddling his thumbs, as he's like, wait, what type of body am I going to be sent into? As the two girls would look at Deku and would just say, well, we couldn't find a regular skeleton or a zombie or anything for you to be sent into. So the body you're going to be put into will be of a deceased, well, it was dead, but it will be a skeleton lord, which grants the user the ability to evolve. You can evolve to different forms if needed. As they're like, okay, well, alright. As the two girls would snap their fingers, and in a snap, this flash of light would just blind both of them. And when they open their eyes, they see that they are underground in dirt. As they're like, what the hell? And no, they start climbing out, or well, Deku starts climbing out. As no, Deku would no, he would manage to get himself out of the hole he was in. He would get out, and he would just kind of sit there for a minute. As he would look up, and he would see this girl kind of, with hair covering her, with kind of dark, almost undead like skin. Not saying she's undead, but close. As no, this girl's just kind of sitting there. She's shaking, and she's like, "I didn't think I could resurrect a skeleton lord. I'm not that strong. How did I get? How did I summon this?" As now, Deku would just look at the girl, and he would just say, "Who are you?" As the girl would just say, "Oh, I'm, well, you can call me Sora. I am a necromancer, as you can tell, and I resurrected you." As Deku would look at her, and he's like, "You resurrected me?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'm sorry if that isn't what you wanted." As Deku would just stand up, and he's like, "No, it's fine. I guess I'll be protecting you then." And she's like, "Yeah, I guess so." As immediately an arrow would come flying past Sora, and it would land in the ground. As Sora would turn around, and she would see these two, what's the best way I could put it? Greasy dudes, no, neckbeard type dudes, just kind of sitting there, or not sitting, standing there. One holding a huge hammer, the other one holding a bow and arrow. And both of the dudes would look at Sora, and they're like, "You're gonna be a fine prize for us. We're gonna capture you, take you in, and oh, we're gonna show you a fun time." As they lick their lips, and she gets a shiver down her spine. As Deku would walk in front of her, and he's like, "Okay, give me a minute." As Deku's just getting these memories that aren't his. No, he's getting these memories. He sees this little blue screen pop up that says, like, which ability do you want to use? As Deku's like, maybe this one. And he clicks on it. As it would say, "Okay, just say the ability and you can use it." As he says, "All right, Abyss." As Deku would, all of a sudden, a black blade would form in Deku's hands. As the sword would then just engulf itself in this black, just flame-like aura, almost like fire. As Deku just swing the sword around, he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna get used to this." As Deku just disappears, and leaving all three of the people there like, what the hell? Where'd he go? As the two men just burst into flames all of a sudden. They just full on explode, and they're on fire. As Deku appears once again, and he's holding his sword, which is flaming. As Deku just nicely does like a little swipe, as the fire goes away and the blood comes off of the sword. As he kind of holds the sword on his side, I guess you could say. Yeah, puts it on his hip. As Deku starts walking towards Sora, and she says, she's like, "Wait, what are you doing? Are you gonna kill me too?" As Deku just picks her up, puts her on his shoulders, and he just starts running off. And she's like, "Wait, do you even know where you're going?" As Deku just stops, and he's like, "Nope, where are we going?" As she would say, "Well, we're going to this small town called Trost. It's not a big town, but the town is good for its resources. And I was supposed to be a lord of that town, but the problem is my uncle took over." As Deku would just be like, "Huh, okay then. Alright." As they would make their way towards Trost, and they would keep going and everything. They're walking. As eventually Deku starts running with her on his shoulders. And she's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa. We're supposed to get past how are we supposed to get past the guards?" As Deku's like, "Oh, there's a very good way for us to get past the guards. How's that? As Deku starts running and he's running faster and faster, and then eventually he just does this one jump and he just leaps over the walls into Trost. He just jumps over the walls. And once he lands back down in the middle of the town, causing this huge dust cloud to come up. And while everyone's looking at the dust cloud, Deku quickly runs off, and he's just running around trying to look for little spots here and there to hide. And Deku, he's just hiding in the shadows, and he's like, okay, you are gonna go around and get whatever you need or whatever you need to get, and then we need to go. Because I can tell the people here aren't good, per se. As she's like, what do you mean aren't good? As Deku would just be like, well, they seem to be, a lot of them have this dark aura around them. So I feel like it would be a lot better if we just left it at that. We just left. And she's like, okay, well, I won't be long, so take your time. Or I won't be long, so just kind of wait here. As she starts walking off and everything, and she's going, and she walks into this little shop, and Deku's like, yeah, no, I'm not about to just leave her alone. I don't trust this place at all. Isaac, Isaac, or the sludge villain, would just look at Deku and Isaac would just say, what is it? What do you need? This is internal, by the way. So in their mind, they're looking at each other as he says, okay, real quick, do we have any type of sensory ability or like detection ability? Anything? As Deku, as Isaac would just look at Midoriya and he's like, let me see. As a whole lot of blue screens would pop up and Isaac would just scroll through all of them until he stops on one. He's like, here. How about thermal detection? As Deku's like, what does it do? As he's like, well, what, like the Predator's thermal sense, how it could see through walls and whatnot? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, yeah, that's basically what you have. You have the Predator's, X-ray vision, basically. But it also works on other monsters that don't give off a heat signature, because you can go off of electricity signature from their heart beating. And if their heart doesn't beat, you can go off of a undead signature, which is just kind of this cold aura that they give off. The more undead they are, the bigger the aura is, the more easily you can find them. As Deku's like, okay, well, let's use it. As Deku would activate it, and his eyes would just glow, kind of this red, like this reddish orange. As he's like, whoa, this is actually kind of freaky. And he would look down at himself, and he's like, whoa, wait, can Sora not see this? As Isaac's like, nope, she cannot see that you have this aura of just a dead demon lord. Which is what Deku is. He is a dead demon lord, or a skeleton lord. And Deku is just kind of like, okay, now what do we do actually? Like, what is it, like, how do we go about this? Because we can't just run in there and threaten everyone to not hurt her. As, Isaac would just be like, well, you could try moving from shadow to shadow. As he's like, yeah, that is a good idea. As, Deku would just start kind of flash stepping from shadow, from each shadow, random person's shadow to, the building shadow, and now he's inside of the building that Sora went into. And when he looks around in that place, he sees Sora negotiating, looking for stuff, or looking for things. As Sora would find this, it's a little hard to say what the armor is, but no, it's more protection for your lower half than your upper half. It's meant for people with more durability. So, you have more, you're agile, but you also have more durability. That's basically what the armor does. You're agile, but it does add to the durability you already had. As she's like, huh, well, how much for this one? Or like, she's like, how much for this, armor? As the storesmith would just be like, well, that will cost you about 3 gold. And she's like, 3 gold? Dang, that's a lot. Whatever, here. As, she would put 3 gold on the table and she would take the armor and start walking off. She would leave the building, she would start walking off. As Deku, he leaves the building as well, following her, just kind of going from place to place, or going from shadow to shadow, following her, making sure he isn't spotted. When all of a sudden, right as she's about to leave the gates of the building, uh, what ends up happening is two soldier-like knights, or two knights, I don't really know what to call them, cannon fodder, really, but two men stop Sora, and they're like, hey, who's the armor for? As Sora just, no, she's trying to think of some idea or something, and she's like, forget it, this'll work. And she says, well, this armor is for my boyfriend. As they're like, oh yeah? Boyfriend? Where is he? As she's like, oh, well, he's actually outside the gate, and I'm about to meet him. As they're like, come on. You don't have to meet him just yet. You can come talk with us. Just talk with us for a little. As Deku's like, I don't know why, but I don't like these people. As Isaac would just mess with Deku, and he's like, what, you jealous or something? And Deku's like, don't forget, I can still kill you and keep moving. As, no, as Isaac would just be like, no, you can't. You can't kill me. I'm gonna be here with you till both of us die. And I have a feeling that we're not gonna be dying anytime soon. As Deku's like, yeah, maybe you're right. And, Deku would just kind of, ever so slightly throw his sword at the people, the two dudes. Because, they go to grab Sora, and right as they go to grab her, a blade comes flying past them, and it goes through both of their arms, pinning them to the ground. Like, it goes through both of their arms, and it pins them to the wall, leaving both of the men just screaming in pain. As Sora's like, oh, it seems he saw you guys. It seems my boyfriend saw you guys. Oh well, I'm just gonna go now. And Deku finally heard what she said. He's like, wait, boyfriend? I know I'm not the boyfriend, right? It's got to be someone else. As Isaac would just kind of look at Deku, and he's like, yeah, sure. Whatever you say, buddy. Whatever you say. And basically, as they're making their way there, making their way to the town or whatever, or not making their way to the town, as Sora's leaving the town, Deku would quickly appear, pull his sword from the two dudes' arms, cut their heads off, put his sword away, and then disappear back outside. So, as Deku would appear outside, she's like, oh, I got this armor for you and me. And she's like, as Deku would just kind of look at her, and he's like, okay then, sure. And they would go off to their own little spot to go change or whatever. As Deku would come back, and he's basically wearing what Vasto Lord Ichigo is wearing. Basically just this. So kind of tattered clothing. Or, well, let me rephrase that. He's wearing Ichigo's clothing, but it's about to end up like this in a minute. So, yeah. As basically, they're going along, doing their own thing. As Deku's like, okay, maybe it would be better if I did a couple of dungeons. Went to a couple caves and dungeons, got to kill some monsters. Maybe I'd get some power or something from it. Because I did feel I got a little bit stronger after killing those two dudes, but not a whole lot, so I assumed they were weak. As Deku, he's kind of thinking to himself, as Sora's just kind of looking at him, and she's like, dear God, I still can't believe that I summoned him. Oh well, I guess hopefully he doesn't betray me like everyone else does. as Deku can just feel this sad aura coming from her. As Deku's like, I need to do something to cheer her up. Oh, I got an idea. As Deku just picks her up and he starts hauling, like, he picks her up, puts her on his shoulders, and he starts sprinting as fast as he can towards the first cave, which isn't that big of a cave. It's just like a skeleton cave, so it's not a whole lot, not worth a whole lot. So yeah. So Deku's making his way towards the cave, and he's going and everything. And she's like, "Whoa, whoa, why are you going so fast?" And she's like, as Deku would look at her, and he's like, "Oh, come on, tell me this isn't fun." As you know, now he starts jumping and he's hopping from tree to tree while going this fast. And she's like, "Yeah, you're right. This is kind of fun." As she grabs onto his horns, and he's like, "Whoa, okay, this is a new feeling. This is weird. All right, I can keep going though." As no, he's going, and Isaac is just kind of looking at Deku, and or now Isaac is talking to Deku in their mind, mentally, telepathically, talking to Deku, and he's like, "Okay, y'all have got to be the cutest couple ever." As immediately Deku's like, "Shut up, or I swear to God, I'll fry you." And he's like, "Yeah, sure, whatever you say, buddy. Whatever you say." As Deku would just kind of make his way, going all throughout the cave. Or not going throughout the cave. He would make it to the cave. And as he makes it to the cave, he would, just stop. As he would be like, okay, we made it to our destination. So you ready to go in? As she's like, yeah, I'm ready. As he's like, hold on. Here, maybe you should hold on to this. As he hands her a small, well, not a small, like a medium-sized, almost like dagger. No, not a knife, but it's like a full-on dagger. As she's like, where'd you get this? And he's like, oh yeah, I stole it from that blacksmith place you were at. And she's like, oh, why would you do that? And he's like, well, why not? You don't have a weapon. I'm not going to protect you the whole way. You do need something to protect yourself. So, I mean, yeah, I got you the knife. And she's like, well, okay then. I mean, thank you. I'll be sure to use it. And she's like, okay, well, let's go in. And that's where I'm going to leave this video off for now, guys. If you all have any questions or any thoughts that you want to tell me about this video, please do tell. If you all have any ideas for where this video should go next, because, oh, trust me, I have ideas. I'm just wondering if y'all do. But, no, if y'all have any ideas or any thoughts y'all want me to do or change about where this goes, just let me know. And once again, guys, thank you for just everything y'all have done for me. I really am just happy to have all of you here with me. Just happy to have everyone here with me, just giving me more confidence that I didn't have. Because, gonna be honest, I was not that confident of a kid. But feeling that people actually like hearing my voice has given me a major boost in confidence. Hell, it's gotten me to the point where I literally have a damn God complex because of you all. And I want to say thank you for it. Because I probably wouldn't have been here now if you all didn't help me. I probably would have been on a much darker point in my life if you all didn't help me. So, thanks. Thank you all a lot. And with that out of the way, this is Blackbeard What Ifs signing off. I'll see you guys later. Bye.